I'm hearing rekindling a flame, okay? It's really interesting because the message that's coming through with this is this energy of past lives. So, you know, you can live through incarnations up to this point that have all prepared you for your current lifetime, okay? And sometimes some people will have such experiences in previous lifetimes that they're able to accept and be more maybe open-minded, open-hearted to certain experiences. Let's call them mystical experiences, okay? So, you know, there's some things that some people just wouldn't be able to grasp in their mind space, or even just like, look at that, the 8 of Wands. Yeah, lots of like incoming. I feel like that's saying like angelic messages and presences. This is what I mean. If you were to tell someone that you've literally had an experience in that realm, not a lot of people would be able to kind of grasp the idea sometimes, the magician as well. So it's kind of that energy of I feel like someone's been creating portals, is what I'm hearing, in their field of existence, right? But it's been happening across lifetimes and not a lot of people have understood it. However, there is that one person who has similar experiences and is able to understand them like no one else. You know, to even experience a love like that, or even just whatever it is, that connection, even just in a moment, is in itself just almost like a miracle, right? I suppose it is. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Straight up had the Empress, the 2 of Cups, and the Ace of Wands. Wow. That is literally that energy of I've heard specifically coming into oneness. The beautiful fertile energy of this Empress here. You know, she's got that glow. She's in her vibe. She knows her worth. But it's not come without having to handle all of these burdens. I'm hearing emotional burdens that were blocking the her own creative and abundant flow, specifically those, okay? And she's coming into alignment with what was meant to be hers all along, right? She's beautiful. Look at this, oh my goodness, the 3 of Wands and the Queen of Cups. This 3 of Wands always gives me that energy of kind of like a warrior who's literally been at battle and now is ready to, you know, go forwards with so much kind of this new, I'm hearing like a renewed energy of like optimism, faith, right? Even though knowing that you just don't know what the journey ahead is, right? The King of Wands there as well. So someone's definitely hearing those horns beeping. Someone's definitely been really maturing when it comes to their emotional capacity to hold kind of the emotions, not of themselves, not even the but the experiences of others as well as their own, because they've been understanding their own, okay? It's giving really divine feminine energy. It's beautiful, okay? Yeah, Page of Swords, definitely understanding things in a new way. But it has taken, it's like the hard work is paying off is what I'm hearing, right? So it's kind of like it has taken a lot for someone to get to this point where they're finally ready to align with what is in alignment with them, what is divinely written for them, something that someone has thought about a lot, you know, something that they're very passionate about as well. And it feels like, you know, when you feel just like down and out or whatever, this is the one thing that brings them back to life, just the thought of it, okay? The thought of this divine feminine energy is what I'm hearing, okay? Ace of Cups at the bottom there. Yes, see, death and rebirth specifically. So it's kind of like this transformation had to take place, but I'm hearing like an internal death portal, which is why it's finally that time. And that's come out with that 3 of Wands that I was saying, that warrior energy, right? She's been there, she's ready. So she's gone through the fires, the flames of like her, you know, I'm seeing that phoenix burning to ashes, flying and rising through the flames, right? And ready for a new day ahead. But I feel like it's not even just a new day, it's like a whole new chapter. Yeah, I also feel like it feels like there's lifetimes within this lifetime, you know. Okay, this is someone who's had a lot of opposition, someone who's had to face a lot of internal battles, but also people who haven't understood. You know how I mentioned that you can have that person who just gets you and doesn't even question you, they just believe you, they understand you in a way no one else can. This is not something, this is someone who's faced the opposite. People who just don't understand, people who, it's not like, you know, people that you can have around you that are supportive. This has been the opposite. Yeah, it's been people who've just not understood the dream that this energy has been really, really trying hard to attain, to get to. Yeah, the Hanged Man. Yeah, really, truly overcoming the external noise and finding inner peace, but specifically that inner, you know, that like that I'm seeing the alchemist energy, so that home is within all along kind of energy. Okay, so someone is no longer outsourcing validation or worth. It's almost like somebody felt like they needed to prove their worth, right, to be seen as deserving of whatever it is that, you know, this empress is in her glow. She's receiving, she's ready to, she's created this beautiful world within her, and she receives what she's attracting to her, right? And it's taken a while to get to this point. Okay, King once again at the bottom. I've got the Hierophant here, so there's definitely, I'm really seeing that you know, that the opening of that third eye, like massively, in the most, you know, when you just, again, when you just feel like, is this all there is? But someone's suddenly having this, like, I feel like an epiphany, and it's just suddenly, it's almost like the rekindling of the flame within, to be honest with you. That's how this massively feels, which makes sense, because that's when what does need to come into alignment can come into alignment. Page of Wands. Now someone finally understands that what steps need to be taken to move forwards in this new direction. Okay, gosh, yeah, the Five of Swords. Oh, okay, the Emperor. I think somebody here is having a lot of internal struggle with wanting to approach this divine feminine energy. So the first card was the Empress. Now this one, I wasn't going to shuffle anymore, but it's the Emperor. Okay, so this is someone who's having a lot of internal, I was a bit stuck on that one, so that makes sense now, that this is somebody who's having a lot of kind of internal battles and having to face a lot in their external environment that is really that's pulled them away from their intuitive kind of energy within their inner divine feminine, their kind of emotional receptiveness and ability to even be vulnerable and in that space with somebody else. And they've had a completely different viewpoint on this Empress energy than what her truth is, and this is what they're finally realizing. They've been so influenced by the external environment, but I also think that what they thought they wanted was actually so out of alignment with them, because they were. And this is what they've been truly, the understanding that actually it wasn't about watering outside of them, it was all about watering within, again, that flame within. This is an Emperor energy, a divine masculine energy, who I feel like he's had a lot of realization, just him and God is what I'm hearing. So it's like you know, those divine kind of opportunities to really ascend. He's had that. He's literally been like, what do you want me to do, kind of thing, you know, I'm hearing on your knees kind of thing, like literally, you know, blood and sweat and tears, truly. That's what this feels like. And all along, he's held this place in his heart space for this Empress energy. Okay, but I'm hearing specifically delayed. So it feels like somebody, I think, yeah, this divine masculine energy feels like he doesn't want to be too late. He's wondering, am I too late, kind of thing. But again, that's that the internal blocks, okay? But it's coming up for a reason. The Three of Swords, okay? The Moon, the Knight of Cups, the Tower. This is what someone's afraid of. They've had that heartbreak, and they're afraid that if they don't show up correct, or even if they show up at all, that it's just not going to be, it's going to turn into this tower, this having to heal. I'm hearing heal again. Definitely somebody who's had a lot of, I'm hearing like fights, you know. I feel like there's been competition externally, or that's how it's felt for them. Look at this. I think that I've heard two things here, well, three. So they don't want this energy they want to approach to walk away from them. They don't want to have to be the one who walks away in heartbreak. But also they've had to like walk away from a lot that has, they thought that it'd be something that could be mended, but it wasn't. Yeah, they've had serious lessons on letting go, right? Nine of Cups at the bottom of the deck, but the 8 to the 9 of Cups, and then the Chariot here, oh my god, and then the 4 and the 6 of Pentacles. This is someone who is finally approaching this new beginning, and it's after a time where it almost feels like lost hope. This is somebody who has had to really regain a lot within, you know, that energy within, that faith again, okay? But I do feel like this Empress energy has a lot to do with this, this is something they've done themselves, like, you know, they've got themselves to this position. It's beautiful. But I do think there's something about this, I just keep hearing the glow, feeling the glow of this Empress energy specifically, you know, and with that 2 of Cups as well, it's beautiful. It's kind of like this energy of course you're my one, oh my god. Talk about confirmation, past life relationship. This is what I mean. You've known past lives together. That was the very first message that was coming through. Past lifetimes. You've known past lives together. You know, yeah, you've known each other before. So I do think this could be a separation situation. But I also feel like there's that, you just know that it's you two because it's something that you can't explain. I'm not just talking about, a spark and it's chemistry and your butterflies and act, not at all. It's like this deeper understanding where it's like you can literally just look at each other and it's just, there's this feeling. It's not even butterflies. If anything, it feels like peace, home, right? A sense of home. Yeah. A sense, you find that home within, but you find that sense of, okay, you're going to make my home even more cozy, right? Playfulness, but in a way where it's like there's depth, you know, like I say, to understand each other in a way that you haven't before. There's something about recapturing this energy. That's what's coming through then. Needing to recapture this. I do think that you both bring out the inner child in each other as well, which I think is what's been missing in your own journeys. You know, you've had to get to this Emperor and Empress energy through your journeys, right? Release your ex. Yeah. It's kind of like, yeah, you've had to go through that releasing of all that, clearing of all that energy that you've not lost, like that. It's like you're missing that spark, you know, you want to experience it again, right? Oh my God, divine connection, true love, the romance of all lifetimes. Wow. Yeah, that's what this felt like, to be fair, so that makes sense. But, you know, that means you do have to release all those external energies. I think this is someone who has a lot present around them, protecting them, and I'm not sure they've realised this, but throughout all their battles that they faced, divine has been very present. Heart-to-heart conversations. I feel really emotional, so I think that there's going to be emotion in these heart-to-heart conversations. It might even be unexpected because I wasn't expecting to feel like this after like what I'm seeing, but I think that there's been so much, I'm hearing like suppressed emotion, you know. There's been tears, but you haven't expressed this to each other. Children, there's something about children that's important here. This could be to do with the past life as well, your inner child, but I do think there's something about healing family issues. Yeah, there's some truths here that someone's had to face on their own journey, right? It could be both of you, you know, whether it's to do with parents or just whatever you experienced as a child, and finally accepting that and understanding that and recognizing how that's got you to this stage. Okay, so you've got new love here as well, and something about friends. It says let your friends help you, actually, but I do feel like, let's find out. I think someone's tried to find new love, if I'm honest, right? They have, and I think this could be both of you. But the people around have been offering like the wrong advice. This is the thing, they need to learn to love themselves first. Both of you did. You know, not just to mask over the pain in the heart with just more, you know, trying to give yourself more. It's about reducing it, releasing what needs to be released. You know what I mean? It's elimination, not just keep topping up, you know. Some people go from relationship to relationship and it works for them. But here I'm bringing this energy of actually, no, you needed to really face yourself, clear that cycle. Again, healing family issues, right? I think there's a lot beneath the surface here that someone's finally understanding. I think this is why that tower's been prevalent for them as well. Not just in this connection, but also in like the truths that have been revealed. Okay, hold your vision. And nothing will come of that situation. Something to do with the past. That's what came through with that, you know. And anything where they've realised that even if they do try to find this kind of energy outside of them, it's just not been possible. It's not. Time to give rather than take. Okay, so I think that I think this is finally somebody who's, but I think especially this divine feminine energy is finding out, actually, I've given and given and given. It's finally fine for me to really receive what I deserve, right? But I do think it's a beautifully giving energy. But she knows how to pour into herself more than anything. A person who should reach his resolution. New start is coming. Okay, so this is what this is. I think that there's just something here about understanding where you stand in situations. You know, what went wrong in the past. Work through your fears, right? Especially when it comes to, you know, when you go through these things, it can become so embedded in your mind in a way that you can't even very consciously recognize it. But suddenly there's these patterns that are playing out in your connections, in relationships, because of these energies of the past, right? That release your ex energy, whatever happened there. And suddenly you've got all these fears in your mind, and it's kind of like, okay, it's time to now face that, you know, especially with this moon energy. I think someone's really, they've kind of been led by some kind of fantasy and illusion, and now they're kind of, it's almost like they've had a serious reality check. Okay, and I think that's just putting it lightly. They're ready. I just think someone's finally ready to move away and walk away from the past. And I think that whatever's waiting for them has been like, yeah, of course, we're here, we're ready. You know, I say we, this is like, you know, the energies of so much coming through, right? A new romantic cycle begins. Beautiful. There's something about the full moon that's really important for someone. I've heard like they look at the moon and they think of you, okay, which is so beautiful. Take time to breathe out. Yeah, I think this is someone who's had they've needed a lot of this energy, time to breathe out, okay. You and your loved ones are safe. And I think there's something about this connection, look, is on your side. This connection in itself is safe. This is a divine masculine energy who's been really focusing on building their empire. But they're realising that all along the empire was the empire within. Okay. So I also think that you're both going to need to release the past together. Okay. Yes, this is your soul person. Of course it is. I think you're going to be discussing that. You're going to be actually honest about what this connection is and not avoiding it. Clearing out this energy of believing there's unrequited love here, because that's not true. Okay, you've known unrequited love and maybe you've worked for that, you know, you tried, but that's not what this is. Okay. That's why it's kind of like walking away from that energy now, okay, and trusting in this. But you need to have those conversations first to create that stability, right? Getting to know each other there exactly as you reveal your innermost, deepest selves to each other, your bond deepens, right? So that's what's going to happen with these heart-to-heart conversations. You're just going to trust the unfold of this now is what I'm getting, okay? Because there's going to be this, I'm seeing a lot of like, you know, this divine masculine energies has been going through a lot of third eye awakenings, truly, to be able to see things clearly now. And this is why they're finally seeing the divine feminine clearly as well, and they're understanding that this is someone who has unconditional love. You know, they thought that this is abandonment or pain or hurt, when actually all along it's someone who's showing them that this is, look at what you could have, right? They're understanding that, and they've had a lot of high level awakenings. Yes, I think this is someone who's got a lot of spiritual power. Again, it's coming back to that past life. I think there's something really about the past lives where you both have experienced. Maybe you had, maybe you were kind of very gifted or really receptive of your like spiritual psychic gifts, whatever you want to call it, okay? But definitely something there, which is why I think that you're both very open to this now, okay? At least understanding this, okay? Prayer will help this situation, okay? And I do think that this, like I said, someone's been on their knees, literally, you know, go forward fearlessly, confirmation. Yeah, and I think it's just this energy of someone needing to hold faith right now as they walk away from the pain of the heart. I think they're also really caught up on the emotions of the past, kind of what they let or allowed to just keep them in this kind of cycle to favourable outcome. So it's kind of like clearing through that noise now. I think there's a lot of internal scars, okay, that somebody has here. Positive thoughts create positive results, okay? So it's really about, again, holding that face, holding your vision, and staying in that state of optimism. And obviously, realistically, you know, human experiences, you cycle through emotion, right? But it's really about honouring that there will always be something to for you to put your faith in, right? When you're in this specific situation, right, where somebody feels like they'll just, you know, they don't want another tower, they know that it's not going to happen that way, let go of fear now, right? It's that mind, right? Focus on divine and perfect health, okay? Romance angels are helping you. So it's that, I think there's something about the mind space, really, especially with the health card. I think it's mental health. Someone's really struggled with their mental health. This isn't as easy as just like getting over it and, you know, gathering the courage. I think someone truly has to battle with their mental health to move forwards towards this. That's why there's so much about letting go of fear now, working through your fears. This is part of their divine journey, to work through that space within them and clear through. Yeah, look at this. So much overthinking, right? I think it's also because they've made decisions in the past, yeah. The Five of Cups and the Hermit, they've made a lot of decisions in the past that even they has resulted in regret. But they were hasty decisions based on haste, okay? Temptation. Yeah, temptation led, and just wanting to not feel the pain of the wounds that was within them that they were avoiding. Okay, that's what it is. Oh my God, just as we said this as well, strength card. Okay, and then the Fool, the bottom of the deck. That's what it's going to take, that strength that they are gathering. They really are right now, and it's all an internal job, truly. I think that they're checking themselves in terms of who and what they've been listening to. They're understanding that actually the new love that's coming through in this new romantic cycle is with this person, this true love, these heart-to-heart conversations, this beautiful past life relationship. And you know each other, you two know each other, like no one else, truly. Yeah, and I think that someone's finally understanding that they're not allowing themselves to cycle through like this energy of even people who are jealous, not just of them, but who their person would be, right? Not wanting them to be happy. They don't even realize it themselves, right? But they're keeping someone down in that temptation energy, in that lower level kind of fear-based, desire-based energy. And now they're seeing clearly through this, but it comes with a lot of regret, a lot of loss, a lot of sadness, a lot of taking accountability. I think that before they've had a lot of opportunity to avoid that accountability, and now it's like, okay, let's create a foundation of trust where we can both come through and both say yes to being courageous to this, because that's what this takes, courage. But there's something about, really, look at this favourable outcome. Divine is truly working with you. It said the romance angels are helping you. It's true, because this is a divinely aligned connection. There's something bigger that you have to do. You have a purpose here. Right about now, you're just gaining the energy and the momentum to come together in this energy where you can offer these cups to each other, where there's emotional balance, maturity. I'm hearing you both want to create this beautiful kind of utopia energy, if you will, right? It's not that simple, but it's like you're willing to kind of, I'm seeing like this alchemy, weaving your DNA strands together into one. Okay, so yeah, really beautiful, really powerful love this is. It's especially because it's really got you both in that space, or you've had to step into those roles within yourself, right, in your life. And now it's kind of like, okay, how do we bring the spiritual element of this connection in our lives too, together? Okay, and that's what comes with these heart-to-heart conversations. From now to Scorpio season is going to be super important for a lot of like forward momentum here. And you're both going to have strength and courage to really release the past and walk away from that now. Okay, that's a really important detail here. Okay, in order for you both have hold a very similar vision. Okay, in fact it's practically the same. It's kind of like divine has like guided you both in this like sense. In order for you both to really move forwards towards this together in this beautiful union energy and create this new world together, where you're both got the reins of that chariot and ready to like work together in harmony, it's going to require this building of this foundation. Okay, that's where this comes from. I feel like you might have already have that foundation ready. I mean, you've got the past life relationship. You've got what you need to create this moving forwards, right? It's now about honoring that unique element of this spiritual connection that you have, being true to that, and creating together. Okay, so you're going to be doing a lot of alignment. It's going to be really important, aligning with each other, on all levels, energy-wise, as well as, actually physically. So before you run out of passion, recognize, because what you want to do is you want to be led from the heart here. Okay, so let me know if this message was for you. Sending love.